Hey everybody, I'm Tricia McCannon. I just got interviewed by the wonderful Bruce Starr only moments ago, and we jumped up, we changed our shirts, yes, and we got the Luvcoach with us. This is Brady, so we have to introduce Tricia McCannon, Bruce Starr, the Luvcoach, and Brady, the love dog.
Because he's famous, so you might as well know him firsthand. Right?
And he is definitely part of this family. You know, it's really, there's no part of this apartment that he is not a member of. So we just wanted, you know, the audience to appreciate all the love and the kissing that he's given to, you know, Bruce at this moment.
What a lover. What a lover.
Yeah.
What a lover. Look at it.
As opposed to a fighter. Okay, now he's back in the place on the couch.
Let's go later. Hey,
so, okay, everybody. So, hi, and you know, it's December. It's the beginning of December in Florida, gorgeous, sunny Florida. I'm visiting down here. I was at a conference, and I came to see my wonderful friend Bruce and his marvelous wife Lauren and their daughter Kenya. So it's a pleasure to be with all of you today. As many of you know, if you watched the interview Bruce just did about me, I wrote Return of the Divine Sophia, which is all about the rise of the divine feminine. I just had my new book, The Angelic Origins of the Soul.
The press.
It's only been out a couple of weeks. It's really, really great. It's about you and me and the journey we have taken from the higher worlds and where we return to after we die. My very first book, Dialogues with the Angels. And this is the tour de force about, look how fat that book is, oh my goodness, about Jesus and the Great Spiritual Mystery School. So I forgot to put them beside us when we did the other interview, so now you get to kind of find out about them. So, but we are here today to actually talk to Bruce about his work because I've long been an admirer of the commitment and the work and the passion that he has had for love, romance, and really the sharing of people's lives with one another in the search for the right romantic partner for each one of us. So I would like to ask you a question, Bruce. What has fueled this lifelong passion? As long as I've known you, this has been your lane. You've had radio shows in Florida, in Central America. You were like literally the big man on campus and that entire island for about 9 years in Roatan, where you brought the community together with civic events, with relationships, with interviewing people. What is it that's driven this passion that you have?
You know, way back like 40 years ago, when I was attending college. Now, this is not going to sound as studious as you'd want it to sound, but I was having problems with girls. I was having problems understanding relationships. I was having problems understanding why some people you want to be with aren't interested in you and why people that we're so interested in, you can't lose them. And so I actually started my 40-year study to learn how to pick up chicks. Okay, I said it.
This is actually a universal problem. No matter what culture you're in, half the world are men, and they're trying to figure out how to find their mate, you know, and they start off by trying to pick up chicks.
And back then, it was much simpler than it is now. I mean, I couldn't imagine being someone that needed to be out in the single world now because it's so much more complicated. You know, when I speak, Tricia, I say, the worst thing that we had to worry about back then was cooties.
Don't you remember that word, cooties? I always love that word.
You know, forget about the AIDS and the STDs and all that. Let's not even talk about that. But there is so much confusion. And where there's confusion between the males and the females, there's more heartbreak. And then there's more heartbreak. And then people pull back. And the problem is that we were born, as you know in your books, we were born perfect love. We were born spirit, clean. And
what happened?
Sheesh.
What happened?
As we get raised by our parents and then go off to school and then go join our friends, and we hear all this misinformation about life that pulls us further and further away from our main mission, which is, in my mind, and there's been songs written about it, to love and be loved in return. That's it. If we could just get rid of all the other stuff, we'd all be much better off. So here's what happened, and it's heartbreaking. Because when we were 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, those of us that were lucky enough to fall in love for the and had a wonderful love experience. Let's just kind of fantasize about that for a second. How great that was, right? I mean, there was nothing like it. You were in heaven.
Your heart was open.
No baggage.
That's right.
You had no bad experiences, so you weren't going, should I, shouldn't I?
Right.
The person in front of you was all wow, and you dove in full. And that worked for many people. But if something happened along the line, her parents broke you up, his parents broke you up, she went off to college, he went off to college, he cheated, whatever it was. If you got your heart broken after that really first deep, loving, all-in experience, that hurt.
Yeah, that's a wound. And what is it? The first love is the deepest. You always hear the first cut is the deepest. I think that's what it is. And it's not that this person is necessarily the partner you were going to end up with, but if it did not end with kindness, love, and dignity, where both people felt whole, it can cause a very deep wound that then, without meaning to, you wind up carrying over to the next relationship and the next and the next and the next. And of course, then that hurt can just get compounded through the decades to the point that you close your heart, you live out of your head. This is one of the things you were saying to me earlier today.
Right. What happens is if we get our hearts broken, and by the way, some women think men are really retarded when it comes to relationships. You know why they say that?
Why?
We are. If we got our heart broken, we got retarded in our growth when it came to relationships. And what happened is, you and women and men, what we did was we left our hearts.
Yeah.
And we had to figure out a way to protect our hearts, to socialize, to have sex, to fool around, to look social, to look successful. So we went like this, and we said, well, I have to figure out a way to protect my heart and still socialize. So here's what we did. We started thinking about what would make the best relationships.
It went to your head.
We started thinking. We left our heart, whereas, oh, you are so sweet, you're so loving, you're so kind, you're so warm, I want to be with you. We left that. God forbid if we met someone who would threaten our safe space, that would really scare us, especially because we're hiding our hearts away. So we move up here and we go into negotiations.
Right. A lot of times people think, I think men a lot of times think that money and power is going to win them the girls. But of course it might win you girls that are interested in that, but that's not the girl you really want to be with anyway, because it's not going to win you love. And women who get their hearts broken might think that, and it used to be that, that it was all about beauty and attractiveness and stuff in order to attract the men. But if you're just going to attract men that are only attracted to that, that's not the kind of man you want anyway. And so now, of course, many times women do what men did, which is throw themselves into work and throw themselves into money and independence. And I really don't need anybody anyway, because who wants to go through 17 more heartbreaks? So, absolutely. I think this is what Bruce has been involved in, coaching people as a love coach for many, many, many years. When he had his radio shows in Florida, and then of course he was in Los Angeles for 7 years, and then
we did TV, cable TV.
That's right.
The show was watched by 3 million people, 3 million households in the Los Angeles area. And
you know how hard it is sometimes to get men to talk about their feelings? I mean, it's the archetype of the strong, dark and silent, guy, so attracted, the wounded warrior, oh, let's go heal him, 20 years later, I'm exhausted. Okay, but Bruce is actually a talker. He actually wants to talk. He wants to talk about love. He wants to talk about feelings. He wants to talk about relationships. How rare in a man. And he talks to men. He doesn't just talk to women. He's all about trying to help the men find their voices as well, to figure out how the men can heal their hearts. Because even if women became more enlightened, if we don't have our fabulous men by our side, we're going to be lonely, and where are our partners? So both of the genders have to come up, don't they?
And the females have the advantage, because when you get your heart broken, you get to talk to people about it. you have your girlfriends, you have your mother, you have your aunt, you have your grandmother.
Men are trying to be strong all the time and hold it together and not show that they're weak because they have feelings, which of course, thank God, that paradigm has been changing.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, Frank and Joe don't go to the gym where the guys hang out. And you never see Frank break down and say, oh, Joe, I'm feeling so vulnerable. My girlfriend thinks I'm a lousy lover and she doesn't love me anymore. I just don't know what to do. You're not going to see that.
Right. No, it's going to be like, let's go on the football field and work it out with
Yeah,
violence
yeah.
and, aggression,
So,
right?
Since they don't get a chance to work it out, where does it stay?
Right.
In here.
Right. It's
And
the
so
wound of the heart.
I think that there's, probably 500 million men out there that can really use an outlet, that can really use a safe place to talk about their feelings so that they can start working out. I'm writing a new book.
Oh, I heard you were writing a new book. This is so exciting.
Because she told me to write it.
Well, you know what? I have been hearing this passion. I've known Bruce for 25 years. And he, no matter what else he does, and he's so multi-talented. I mean, he did stand-up comedy. He's a fabulous videographer. He does so many great things, but this is his overriding passion. And, I think this is one of the things we were talking about earlier is that many times the experiences that we've gone through that are wounding patterns for us become the catalyst for our mastery and ultimately what we've come to teach other people. And so I know you went through having a wonderful relationship and also having your heart broken. So from the inside out, you've lived this story. And now, of course, over the last 15 years, you've gotten married. You really love your wife. He's a really great husband and a good cook, too. And he actually cleans the kitchen. I mean, really, he could teach those men a thing or two, don't you think?
And a loving father, too.
A loving father. He has a wonderful 13-year-old daughter who's doing great in school. So, he has gone through the fires of hell to get here. And that is the path, really, of the wounded healer that becomes the master healer and teacher.
Should they choose to be?
Should they choose to be?
Should they choose to heal the wounds?
So this is, of course, why I've been encouraging him for some years to really write a book about love, write a book that men would want to read as well as women. And so he's gotten started on it, and I'm so excited. Hopefully by the end of next year, maybe he'll have it ready to go. And also, I think he's going to be, this next year, you're going to be launching a course, an online course that can begin to help people get in touch with their feelings and move through some of those blocks, right?
Yes. So if you'd like, we hope that you and your friends pass this on to their friends and their friends. If you would like to be added to our mailing list, Tricia's mailing list, my mailing list, so you can keep in touch with both of us. I have a feeling that you and I are going to be doing some relationship work together. Wouldn't it be great for a man and a woman to get up in front of 100 people and do the relationship work?
Yeah, I think it would be too. And Lauren is his wife. She's a fabulous woman too. I love her, but she's a support system girl. She's all about healing the body. She was a massage therapist. She had a healing center down in Central America. And so, maybe we'll get Lauren on stage with us too. We love her.
So be in touch with us. Private message me your email address, and we will add you to the mailing list and get the information out there. Also, if you want to visit my websites,
I was going to say,
openheartmovement.com.
Love that.
openheartmovement.com. You can find that same website on Facebook. You can also find the Luvcoach, LUV Coach, on Facebook, and you can just sort of keep in touch and spread the word that, there's an open heart movement going on. You want to be part of it? Want to be a part of the open heart movement? Because it can't be done with me alone. It's got to be done with all of you out there that are sick and tired of closing your heart down and having empty relationships based on what you think about people, based on a compromise, and based on a negotiation. If you have enough of what I want, I'll give you what I have.
It's not a business negotiation.
No, it's not. No.
It's a journey from the heart. So thank you so much for joining us. If you want to know more about me, you can go to triciamccannonspeaks.com. Happy to have you on board. You can check out what I'm doing, but go check out the Love Coach. How many enlightened men do you know that's willing to sit around and talk about love, passion, feelings, emotions? We should have more men like this in the world.
Thank
Thank you guys so much for joining us.